Hello, this course we are going to learn about electrification. Electrification is the most important positive sustainable disruption. The driver for the electrification is the urban mobility. Most investment funds can be found in the cities. Municipalities want to protect their citizens and they have funds for good air quality. So we want to prevent bad air from NOx, fine dust particles, for instance. And the other important aspect in the city is smart logistics. Let the traffic flow. And that's also a thing where you can help the environment in the city. And very upcoming at this moment in time is noise. The noise emission from traffic. In a city like Rotterdam, 60,000 people are suffering from constant traffic noise. And that is important for the quality of life that you can avoid that. And of course, energy and CO2 is important, but that's not a local issue. That's a more global issue. And evidential, it's always true that money is important, investments are involved, and you should be able to earn back your money. Pollution is a killer argument for change in the cities. And that was also 1 century ago, when we were used to horses in the cities that also polluted them. And in the transition, in that time, we went from, in 13 years, from no cars to no horses, as you can see on this picture of the 5th Avenue in New York. And if the pollution is making the citizens suffer, the change will go very fast. That happened in the past and it will happen again. And we can question, do we like emissions? Why do we like emissions? Especially if we know that the World Health Organization has calculated that there are more people dying from bad air, from car exhaust pollutions, than from car accidents. That's more than 1 million deaths per year. That's quite unacceptable, and we can't do without emissions. The problem with emissions is that they are invisible. They were invisible. Because nowadays we can measure them on street level. Fine dust can be measured, fine dust of soot, NOx, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, noise. And there is an average level. The average level is 40 microgram per cubic meter. That should not be passed over a year. However, when it passes 75 microgram per cubic meter, there will go an automatic alarm and roads can be closed. And it's all about life expectancy. In the red areas, we are living 3 years shorter than in the remote places that are indicated in blue, like in the north of Norway, where the air is still clean. The situation at the left is 2000. And to the right you see the situation we would like to have in 2020. But probably we are still not going to reach in that period of time. It's a misunderstanding that passenger cars are the main cause of the pollution in the cities. The main polluters are the cargo transportations, like trucks and vans. They are responsible of 2/3 of the bad air quality. And they only drive 1/3 of the kilometers. So please start with the cargo vehicles and, for instance, the city buses. And in the Netherlands we know the Green Deals, the zero-emission bus and the zero-emission city distribution. And those are focused on clean air and clean vehicles in the cities. In 2025, we are not allowed to buy any non-zero emission vehicles for the city anymore in the Netherlands. Of course, you can question whether electric mobility is really good for environment. And to get an answer on that, we have to do life cycle assessment studies, like the study of the Free University of Brussels, which uses the single eco-score recipe. And a high score means a high impact on the environment, not only air pollution, but also resources and other things. To the right, we see the petrol and the diesel vehicle, and to the left, we see electric vehicles. And to the right of those electric vehicles, you see a battery electric vehicle that is powered by electricity that comes from an oil-fueled generator. That's a very rare case, which is used on some islands, remote islands. And that case is more or less equal bad to what we know from the diesel and petrol cars. However, to the left, you see the battery electric vehicles that are powered by renewable energy, like solar, wind and water. And there we can see that renewable is at least 4 times better than what we know today. And the next question is, why should we spill our energy resources? Imagine that every passenger car needs about a 40-ton tanker truck driving behind it to fuel it over its lifetime. While the students of the TU Delft from the Stella team developed a solar vehicle for the Solar Challenge that is energy positive. At the end of the day, the vehicle has more energy in its batteries than at the start of the day. And those students started now a commercial development called Lightyear, where they are going to build an even nicer looking car and more suitable for the northern countries that also has solar panels on its body and on its roof. And it can drive even in the Nordic countries on solar energy, plus of course a plug-in for the times that you need it. And if the students can, why can't the industry then? And remember, there is enough solar energy in the world. About 1 hour solar radiation on the Earth is enough to power our needs for a whole year. If you compare that on a map, you see that in the desert in Africa, we need for our electricity with the current solar technology about 125 by 125 kilometers square to generate that electricity. And if we would start driving EVs and power them from those solar energy central places, then we would need 175 by 175 kilometers. That's about 30,000 square meters comparable with the province. So it's doable. And we already knew that EVs are far more energy positive or energy saving than the traditional vehicles. So we don't need that much energy for them. Crucial in urban traffic is that it is stop and go. And when there is a stop and go situation, there is a lot of slowing down and a lot of braking. And recovering the braking energy is very positive for your energy balance. As you see on this picture, there is a prototype e-bus in Rotterdam that we tested already in 2009. And that first prototype had 25% regenerative energy recovery from braking and slowing down. And the current models, which are the professional and further developed electric buses, they have at least 35%. That means that 1/3 of the energy you need to propel the vehicle can be recovered while slowing down and braking. And that's really essential in your energy balance. For driving EVs, we need access to clean renewable energy. And the Netherlands is world champion in that. From our public chargers, 100% they are fed with renewable energy. We have already more than 60,000 public outlets and about 750 fast charging stations in our country. That means that for every outlet there are 2 EVs. And that's a very good situation. You really are able to drive electrically in the Netherlands. And we thank that to our open charge protocol, for instance. With the open charge protocol, it's possible to overview all the charges and to see whether they're available, they're free or broken or occupied. And the other aspect is the interoperability. The interoperability makes it possible to pay with one card, pay card, at all the chargers in the Netherlands. In the EU, the situation is unfortunately not that good. If you look at this map, it's the Netherlands that's covered with chargers. But in Belgium and Germany, it's very thin. And if you are in Paderborn, to the right, you have bad luck because the charger is broken there. Cars tend to drive across borders. And a lack of chargers could be a showstopper for EV in the EU. So we need in the EU fast chargers on the route and very fast. That's to travel through Europe. But also when you live in those other countries, you need for home and workplace charging day to day, you need your chargers. To conclude this, for charging security, we need the AAA. And the AAA is availability. Chargers should be there and they should be online. Accessibility. Chargers should be available for you and they should also be payable ad hoc. And affordability. Remember that if the price of a kilowatt hour is more than 50 euro cents, then diesel is cheaper. Thank you very much.